Good day everyone, good day Mama and Dana Medallia, and my topic is all about making a follow-up on poor performances. When performance problem remain uncorrected despite the initial corrective interview. If everyone ganin na applied ng initial corrective interview and then ang performance sa inyong employee maura Japon wala Japon natarong despite sa initial corrective interview, then a follow-up interviews will be applied, or follow-up interviews is called for two. First is alert the employee at the lack of improvement and its consequences. You are going to alert your employee about sa iyang kulang sa iyang trabaho, og imo siya ignon nga kung unsa ang consequences nga iyang matubang, pwede ba siyang matanggalan og trabaho or ma-suspended siya. And the second is find out the reasons why the desired improvement was not achieved. Tagaan kuan mangita og rason nganong ang desired improvement wala niya na achieved. And the last one is come out with a better solution if what is initial agreed upon did not work out to remedy the problem. Kung gitagaanin mo siya initial agreed upon did not work out to remedy the problem, then find a better solution para para ma-remedy ang problem. Steps and making a follow-up interviews. First is refer to the previous discussion, mention the resolution and remedies agreed. For example, if you recall, I called your attention 3 months ago regarding your performance on two areas, namely customers, relations, and productivity. You made a commitment to be more sober and diplomatic in dealing with your customers. And that is the first one. The second one is describe your observation regarding the lack of improvement and the employee's performance. Be specific, and this you are going to be specific regarding to the lack of improvement sa imuhang employee sa iyang performance, and be specific. And the third is cite the consequences or possible consequences that will result from the lack of improvement and how the operation was affected, complaints received, losses incurred, if any, etc. Ignonin mo ang imong employee nga kung unsay mahitabo sa inyong company tungod sa iyang performance, kung unsay mawala ninyo sa inyong company tungod lang sa iyang performance nga kulang, wala niya na achieved ang desired improvement. For example, with what you did, we are certainly at a risk of losing another customers. So that is the example of the number 3. And the number 4 is ask for a reason or cause. Listen with empathy. Weight reasons if they are justified or not. Recognize the reasons. Be firm and reiterating company policy. Emphasize need for change. Kuan kanang taga mangayo ka sa iyang rason nganong wala niya natarong ang iyang trabaho, wala niya natarong iyang trabaho og buhat, then paminawon nimo siya with feelings kung tas imong timbang-timbangon kung worth it ba ang iyang reasons or pwede ba siya ma-justified, and then recognize the reason, and then kuan but then still you are going to warn him or her nga kailangan niyang tarongon ang iyang trabaho bisan pag unsa pa na iyang rason kay kailangan gyud tarongon ang trabaho. The number 5, ask the employee how he intend to solve the problem. Find out what you can do to help. Pangutanin mo imong employee kung kung unsa ang iyang buhaton para ma-solve ang problema, and then kuanin mo siya, tabangan mo siya kung nakay matabang kay para lang matarong ang iyang performance para sa makatabang ka. And the last one is agree on how solutions of what is previously agreed upon does not solve the problem. Document agreed upon remedial action came out with follow-up update. Giving an oral reprimand. Giving an oral reprimand is given to erring employees who erring means mistake. So you are going to give this to you are going to give the oral reprimand to the employee nga kanang mga sayop. You are going to have the ability to have the ability on the or the have the ability or the competence to do a satisfactory job. Ihatag nimo ang oral reprimand sa mga employee nga kanang competence, kanang makabuhat sila og sa ilang trabaho nga matarong pa nila ang ilang trabaho. So ang oral reprimand maoy ma-applied sa ingon ana nga employee. And then have the resources and the opportunities to do it right yet with fully committed the infraction. And it is never used for learners who are inexperienced and incompetent. Ang oral reprimands kay dili na siya gamiton sa mga employee nga kanang wala pa kayo experience o dili pod mga competent. And it's never used for performance deviation or misconduct that are due to factors beyond the employee's control such as the lack of tools. Kanang dili na sala sa mga employee nganong na ingon na inyong company kay tungod sa lara po na ninyo kay nganong kulang ang inyong mga gamit. So dili na siya i-apply ang oral reprimand. And then it should only be used by a manager or a supervisor when he is sure about facts, either he saw it or have reliable evidence. So, ihara po ni siya magamit ang oral reprimand sa mga manager or sa supervisor kung sure na siya sa sa iyang kung na siya ebidensya, kung nakita ba gyud niya, kung na ba gyud siya reliable evidence. And the offense is minor ones. Kanang dili ra kayo lala nga offense nga nabuhat sa employee maong ma-apply ang oral reprimand. Kung first time resab, so oral reprimand. Steps in giving oral reprimand. First is approach the person as soon as possible after commission of the offense. Tell him in specific terms that he did wrong, what misconduct or deviation was committed, with whom, when, where, and how. Where and how. So you're going to approach your employee right away kung unsa ang offense nga iyang kuan iyang nabuhat, and be specific kung unsa iyang nabuhat nga sayop sa para kang kung sa iyang nabuhat nga sayop sa with regarding to the customers or sa iyang performance. And the second is give him a chance to explain or defend his side. So you are going to listen kung unsa ang iyang kuan iyang explanation nganong nahitabo na nganong na kuan wala niya natarong iyang trabaho, and then recognize reason but try to wait whether they are justified or not. Pero imo siyang tibangon kung justified ba siya or dili ang iyang reasons. And third one is explain the consequences of what he did to take the company to the customers or to the staff. Kuan imong i-explain sa iya, you are going to cite the consequences nga iyang matubang whether mahatanggal ba siya or masuspende ba siya. And then listen and express empathy but reiterate the company policy and the need for change. Kanang maminaw ka sa imo sa iyang explanation sa imong employee with empathy. Number 5, warn him of the consequences should be offense. So mao na i-warn mo siya about sa consequences nga iyang nabuhat, and realize that when the reprimand is over, it's over. Kanang kung mahumanan na gani ang reprimand, hindi mananagid na siya. Giving a written reprimand. Written reprimand usually given when a minor offense is committed the second time without a valid reason. So ang written reprimand ayan na siya ma-applied kung kanang minor offense ra is committed to the second time. Katong ganina katong oral reprimand kato to siyang primero pa nga nga offense, and then this is ang kining written reprimand kay kanang second offense na siya. Before a written reprimand is issued, still the erring employee must be called for corrective interview and must be given a chance to explain. Yes, as usual, kuan tagaan jud chance ang employee nga ma-explain sa iyang side. And when explanation are not found justifiable, kung ang iyang reasons dili justifiable, kung dili siya valid iyang reason, then the written reprimand is usually issued. So, ang written reprimand will be applied and then i-issue siya sa employee. The mechanics and the principles on the issuance of a written reprimand are similar to an oral reprimand. So, similar na sila sa oral reprimand. First, the misconduct or the deviation is described in exact term. So, this is the example of written reprimand. You are going to write to, like for example, to Mr. Juan de la Cruz from the supervisor, write in reprimand date. So you are going to write a date and then kuan na siya sa dira nimo ang kanang nice nimo ipaabot sa iya, and then supervisor, then you are going to perma that one. And this is how to deal with the employee with poor performances. This is a various reason why an employee who had shown more potential upon hearing the performance usually unsatisfactory. Ang kining kuan, this is a challenge of the manager. Challenge siya sa manager because he is going to investigate the possible causes of such behavior and take remedies to eliminate such causes. Think of ways by which employees' performance can be improved. Magkunaw na ang kuan ang manager kung unsa ang iyang buhatan para ma-improve ang performance sa iyang employee, and the employees must be informed of the options and the consequences. It is also important to remain on legally defensive grounds in case of the labor problem in the future. Pero kanang dapat gyud siya kanang legal gyud ang kanang defense ground kay para in case sa kuan labor problem sa future basin ay magreklamo ingon ana. And reminders. Cost of employee dismissal at the Department of Labor and Employee are very expensive and time-consuming. Cases could drag on 4 years and could trigger a backlash of general workforce demoralization or even hostility against the management. Procedures in handling unsatisfactory performance. First is always document your action. You are going to document your action not just in and verbally but also in the writing para makuan lang siya, para ma-document ang inyong pag-istorya sa inyong customers o sa inyong employee o sa inyo sa inyong nga owner sa company. Maintain copies of your memos. So you are going to maintain 2 copies sa inyong memo para sa kuan. You're going to maintain a copies of your memo para nimo ibutang sa imong files just to make sure nga safe ang files. Always require the employee to sign the duplicate kana pag mag-issue kag memo, dapat na gyud duplicate nga kuan para permahan nimo og sa imong employee og but nga nimong date kung kanus ato na receive. And in case of intolerable inefficiency where management action could possibly lead to employee dismissal, write a formal memo to the employee citing the concrete instances of efficiency or violations of company policies, mention specific events, dates, and consequences. List down the measurable objectives and or the sure output the employee must achieve to correct the situation. The number 6 is put a deadline or specific period dates when such objectives should be met. Ideally, 3 months will be adequate. The 7, the last one, is emphasize the non-compliance that is a failure to achieve those objectives or desired output within the set deadlines could result in employee dismissal. And that's the end of my report. Thank you for listening.